That's a lot. It's a boatload of money. I mean, it's a boatload of time. Okay, so as we round into our next topics, I know a lot of times we don't really talk about sports. However, I think that this is a really good platform for us to do it.
It's not a sports topic, though. It's not really a sports topic.
Well, yeah, it's more of like a humanity one. So when we start talking about the basketball season starting, right? Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on the basketball season starting? Let's just start with that.
It's tenfold. For me, it's like, because I know people don't agree with it, but it's two things. If we talking about just the pandemic, COVID-19.
Oh no, let me hold on. Thank you. So okay, in regards to, let me be more specific with my question. In regards, because African Americans dominate the two major sports, basketball and football.
Right.
In regards to that, what do you think about sports starting that our culture typically dominates? Let me rephrase it.
I think it's necessary.
Okay.
Because I know the impact that sports has had on our history. When you talk about Muhammad Ali, when you talk about Jesse Owens, when you talk about Jackie Robinson, you talk about Tommy Smith, so much has changed.
Tommy Smith, that's the only dad. I don't know if Tim's still in here.
If Tim's still in here.
Yeah.
So much has changed within our community due to sports, where I'm not going to let people take that.
Okay.
Like, we got the most powerful voices in the world. Like, some of them are athletes. Why are we gonna mute them? Mm-hmm. Why are we gonna take their platform from them? Muhammad Ali made his change in the boxing ring.
Yep.
Colin Kaepernick made his change on the football field.
I'm with you. Almost.
Jesse Owens made his change via track. Tommy Smith via track. Also, it's just like, you would have to understand and know how much progress your community has made through sports to see why we need to keep the sports
right. Now let's stay right there for a second, because everybody likes to point to history as when we start talking about the present, right? And I get it. You got to understand where you've gone to be able to
understand where you come from,
to be able to understand where you're going. I get it. Now let's take this into consideration just for a split second, right? Because when we start talking about our history, you start naming all these athletes that had a very prominent role in our sports history, I agree with you. But in order for things to evolve and get better, we got to change up the ways we are doing certain things. And
but
when
things
I say
have gotten better,
but there's always ways for things to get even better. And so if you start looking at it from that perspective, you'd be like, okay, so if we dominate football and basketball, I think it's about 70% 70 plus for both sports, 70% plus for both.
I don't think it was that much for football.
Maybe. Okay, so even 60 then. You start thinking about it from there, and you just and trying to get people to be like, okay, well, if they're not doing it, it's not even about everybody being on board. It's more so about the people that have the biggest voice being able to communicate why certain things need to be done differently. Right. Because when you start talking about all these players going to Orlando, some of them are going, some of them aren't going. It's like, yo, if this is a prime example. If everybody's not doing something that they love, I'm looking at things differently. Does that make sense? If everybody's not doing it, there's something going on that's probably not being communicated.
This is why it's a very blurred line right now in the times we're in, because we got to keep things in their proper context.
That's fair.
Right now, you can't ignore the global pandemic that we're in the middle of right now.
Uh-huh.
So it's just like, I don't respect a lot of for example, I don't respect what Kyrie Irving said, because it's like, for one, you're not.
Tell me what he said.
He said he was saying there's too much going on in the world, in the community, for us to be thinking about basketball. Like, that's
okay.
He was saying
What's wrong with that statement? If that's how he feels.
Because you're not playing.
I understand.
You're injured. Yeah, but you're injured. You weren't going to play anyway.
But regardless of if he's playing or not playing, his voice matters, correct?
I don't know, because what would your stance be if you were
See, you focus on basketball. See, this is what I'm saying. Take the basketball out of it, even though it's hard to do that. Let's take the basketball out of it. Because that's what you first pointed to. Because he's not playing, because he's injured, his voice shouldn't matter.
No, I'm not saying it shouldn't matter.
Okay.
I have to see you when it's really something at stake.
Okay.
You can't play anyway. So it's easy to say take this stance when you couldn't play.
So you're saying if he could be able to play, he's probably his position might be different.
I'm not going to say.
But that's what I'm saying. So
that's a possibility. Yes.
Okay.
However, it's like,
and I don't disagree with you.
Your team is not in any way, shape, or form in position to win anything. So it's easy to sacrifice that
Okay.
when your team is sorry. It's easy to sacrifice when you're not healthy. It's easy to sacrifice when we're in the middle of a pandemic.
But think about you. On the surface, it sounds like it's easier, right? But
It is easier.
No, it sounds like it is because so if I'm not doing something that I love to do, if I'm not in a position to physically be able to do it,
It's easy for you to say, "Oh, I'm not gonna do that."
I'm with you, but if I'm physically not able to do something, but I've already made up in my mind mentally I'm not doing it, that's harder than not being able to do something physically. That's tougher.
But you can't do it though. You're not in a position to do it either way.
He could. This is the thing. He's not injured to the point where he can't play.
Yes, he is.
How so?
He already has season-ending surgery.
But this is my whole thing on the season-ending surgery, right? KD has season-ending surgery. This is what they told us. He played. So this is what I'm saying. I'm talking about when he played.
No. That's. I don't.
This is what I'm saying. So it's all subjective.
But they made it. They communicated.
Mm-hmm. They who, the Nets or
Okay. That Kyrie Irving's season was over before the pandemic struck.
Mm-hmm.
Before George Floyd was killed, Kyrie was not playing basketball again this season.
Okay.
So now,
but is he the only one that feels that way and he can't play? This is what you should be asking yourself.
He's the biggest voice.
Okay, but is he the only one?
He's the biggest voice. I don't know what the.
But this is why I'm asking, because just because you're the biggest voice, of course you may have influence on other people. You may,
right?
But that doesn't mean those other people don't feel the same way you do.
I know it's many people that feel, yeah, of course. But there's also bigger voices that
kind of drown those out.
Right.
Well, not kind of. They do.
They did.
And so I was really.
If LeBron said we ain't
that's
playing,
what I was about to say.
If LeBron said we ain't playing, the NBA season is done.
I would have loved
LeBron said we gonna play. Here, we having a season.
And this is what I think about that, right? I think that it's great for one man to have that such a powerful voice. I also think it's not as great as it could be. I was looking forward to see what Kawhi Leonard was going to do too.
He's playing.
I know, but I think I read the ticker when it was like he's not playing, and I was like, oh shit, he's not playing. But then
he's playing.
Then I saw he had like a family emergency or something.
Yeah.
And so,
but for me, it's just like I don't like you flexing in the matter of you're going to look tough because we're in the middle of a global pandemic. If you came out and said, yo, I'm concerned for my health, okay, cool, I respect that. But don't make it like it's because it's too many variables that have changed to where what you saying, your stance is not like, it's not
valid?
Yeah, it's not.
This
it's
is
valid.
right?
I'm not going to say it's not valid, but it's just like your stance is standing on shaky legs.
And also, a lot of his teammates have contracted it, right?
But that's what I'm saying. So if you're relating it to the coronavirus, I respect it. But don't try to make it related to black issues and black life.
So my dad asked me this: which one is more important? Or not which one is more important, but that's what he said. But as we continue to talk about it, he asked me, say, yo, son, which one do you hold more value into? The social injustices or the global pandemic? You say what to that?
Me personally?
Yeah. You say what to that?
That's a tough. In regards to sports?
No, just in general. Just in general.
Oh, well, I would say, I would have to say the global pandemic because you can't see it, you can't measure it, you can't. It's invisible.
So, I was interested to see what his response would be, and he chose not to answer because he just wanted to hear my answer, which he often does. And so I was like, yeah, I said, yo, Pops, you got to give me some time to think about that because you can't just hit me with a question like that and then expect me to just have an answer.
Right.
And so I think when you personally go through something, you feel differently about whatever someone's asking, right? So personally, I think that the injustices kind of outweigh the pandemic. This is why. Because even when the pandemic is cleared up, there's still going to be social injustice going on. Without question.
That's definitely true.
So when you look at it from that perspective, thinking about the social injustice and thinking about how we can improve it or what needs to be done for it to improve, it's a never-ending story. And I think if they wanted the pandemic to be cleared up, it would be. That's what I personally think. I think it's a way to control, let me not say control, but I think it's a way to, control the mindset, control, I think it's a way to just control. That was my
I
response.
think though what we have to be, and I told, when I was on that Crenshaw community group chat that Crenshaw High School did, the Zoom call, it was an older woman that got on there and she wasn't speaking down on the younger teachers, but she had a strong tone as far as like what we should and should not be doing. And I had to explain, not necessarily to her, but just to everybody in general, and say, yo, our plight has been.
Explain to them what plight means first.
They better Google
Okay,
it.
fair enough.
But our struggles, our strife, has taken place over damn near 500 years.
Racism is simple.
So for anybody to think that they're going to get equality overnight, it's just not realistic. And I don't want that type of equality. I want you to don't just fit. Don't bandage it.
Mm-hmm.
Take your time and give us what we're properly owed. Because I've already accepted the fact that I might not be alive to see the proper change that we need to see. And I'm not selfish.
You want to be?
No, I don't. I'm not selfish.
You don't want to be, or you?
I do not. I'm not selfish enough. I mean, I'm not. It's selfish of me to want to see the change that I didn't fight for, I didn't bleed for. You know what I mean? Like, for example, I tell people all the
You
time.
mean physically fight for it, or
Yes.
mentally fight for it, emotionally? What do you mean?
It's people that have literally lost their life
100%.
for the cause.
That doesn't mean you haven't fought for it just because you haven't lost your life for the cause.
No. But I haven't put in the time that others have put in.
Okay, fair enough.
I haven't put in that. I haven't gone to that extreme that those that have got holes down
Okay.
in the street.
I got you.
I have not put in the time that the people that have got dogs released on them. I haven't been through that. So for me to be my generation to be the one that wants to see the change and wants to see, it's selfish. Like, for example,
Hey, would you guys like to see the change that we all are hoping for?
we all want to see it,
Yeah,
but it's selfish. It's selfish though.
it is.
Because
I'm not saying
it's
it's not.
like, why didn't the person that got hosed down in the street, they don't get to see it, but I get to see it, even though I'm experiencing more privilege
Mhm.
than they did.
But here's the thing, though. So you're talking about a physical act that was performed on them. It's a lot of emotional and
As it was on them too.
no, but what I'm saying is everybody. There's certain things that get experienced differently, just given the time.
See, and here's the thing though. This is the crazy thing about
How bad is the echo?
the crazy thing about
Bad.
the crazy thing about what people want now.
Mm-hmm.
We had it.
The crazy thing about what people want.
We
Okay,
had it.
Okay.
For example, I had a conversation like with Tyrone. He said we should start our own leagues. We should do this. We should do that. It's like, bro, and we had that.
See, I'm glad you just said that. We had it.
And we didn't want it.
Oh.
Some of us didn't want it. Some of us
So
didn't
when we
want it.
say we didn't want it, now we gotta start taking a deeper dive into the politics of it. Because it's one thing to not want something; it's another thing to ignore the politics of it.
We had it, regardless if we
I
wanted it or
understand.
not.
No, you can't. No. You can't ignore politics, bro. That's like you can't. There's no way you can ignore the politics, bro. We work in the school system.
Right.
There's no way we can ignore these dumbass politics. No matter
Okay,
how much
let me ask you this.
Okay.
Did we have black-only restaurants back in the day? Back when
Oh, you talking about like? But yeah,
right.
we did.
We had black. We had everything to ourselves.
We did.
Then you had people that wanted to be ingratiated into. They wanted a seat at the
Desegregation.
table.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So now all of a sudden, now we saying let's go back to our own.
No, but that's not what's being said, bro. It's deeper than this. Us going back to our own, because even though we had those things back in the day, bro, we also didn't have it. It didn't actually belong to us.
It did.
No,
It just wasn't. We weren't in position to make it of quality.
So this is what I'm saying. So
Right.
if we're not in a position to make
But
something
then,
of quality,
but then you can't. But when you have people like even current today, like with the Nation of Islam, you know, in the 70s and 80s when they're preaching do for self,
yeah,
send your kid to black schools, only eat at black restaurants, only put your money in black banks. The black folks didn't want to do that. It took you getting gunned down in the street.
mm-hmm.
It took our women being raped, hung, and all that for us to realize, like, oh, we should have been trying to stick to our own.
And so,
You know what I mean?
so think about it. Let's stay right there. So if this was being preached back in those times, and now it's still being preached today, right? Because I mean, essentially, I know
it's never been not preached though.
and I'm not saying it hasn't. I'm not saying it has never been not preached. but it hasn't been, we haven't maximized it to our full potential because I don't think we have the correct direction to be able to do so.
Oh, I totally disagree.
When I say direction, I don't mean
we just
people in positions to be able to lead us. That's what I'm saying.
We just want to be inclusive. If Gucci, if Gucci and Burberry, Prada, Fendi, all that, that's
looked at as upper echelon.
Right. So that's why we can't get away from it because it's just like the
lines at Gucci still gonna be long.
We believe in that so much that that's where our mentality is. So it's just like, yo, there's been black banks, there's been black restaurants, there's been black clothing line, there's been black everything, but
we gotta turn off one of them.
But before, I'm not gonna say before because this has always been happening.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But now it's just like look at what it's taking for us to want to love ourselves.
And this is why. But when you say this is what it's taking, no, I don't think that it took this. I think the way that it was done magnified what we already believed. But I don't think it took that necessarily. I just think the way things took place, it magnified. Oh, okay. It magnified. Because I can hear it on. Thank you, Joe. Hey, we got our engineer. Hey, listen. We got our engineer holding it down, man. Come on, man. Shit. All right, we got 10 minutes left, y'all.
Now I think we should let's close out on that. It's always going to be like you're going to have your people that don't want to pull away from the table. I tell people like this:
don't want to pull away from the table. Got you.
You cannot sit at somebody's table and complain what they feed you. You cannot enroll in people's schools and complain about what they teach you.
Yep.
You can't do anything in someone else's arena, in their field, in their area, and complain about what they give you.
That's fair. I'm not disagreeing with that.
So it's just like
I'm not disagreeing with that at all.
We have so many.
That's a good point.
We have so many blacks that take pride in being the only black at this school. My daughter is the only black at.
Let me ask you this. So, do you think segregation should have never been taken away?
Never. Desegregation was the worst thing that happened to us.
Yes, yeah, I agree. I think just thinking back to those times, and part of me wants to be able to just go back in those times and just live for a bit. You know what I'm saying? If I could, I would love to be able to do so. But I also wouldn't want to.
And let me first let me say I get why people wanted desegregation.
Yeah.
But now we're in position to where we have the bargaining chips. So I agree when people say like Kyrie Irving, like Kyrie. So it's just like you saying we shouldn't play this season. Okay, when should we play? You can't say it's not. That's why I called it lazy, because it's like you telling us when let's stop playing, but what do you want to see for you to start back playing?
I see what you're saying. I think when we start identifying higher level thinkers, because I think he's a higher level thinker.
Don't.
No, this is why I'm saying that. I think he's a higher level thinker. This is why. Because anytime that someone is going against what everybody else is doing, it's easy.
But it's lazy though.
No, just because you didn't hear or he didn't disclose any type of any type of alternative doesn't mean he doesn't have one. I think that when you start talking about what he was talking about, nobody's gonna want to hear it. And so when you start saying certain things and putting certain things out there, you're gonna have people like Stephen A. Smith who I
haven't been even listening to sports.
No, people send me stuff, and so when people start sending me some things that he's saying in regards to how it's just interesting, because just because you didn't hear an alternative doesn't mean he didn't have one.
But you can't, if you're gonna be loud, you gotta be loud.
I feel you. I'm not disagreeing with that sentiment, but what I'm saying is whatever publication he told that to, I guarantee you they didn't ask for an alternative, and the reason why they won
it's his responsibility. For example, Colin Kaepernick, when he took a knee, he was clear on his stance.
And it's not that we not reading, y'all. It's this. We gonna reevaluate. We gonna get our sound guy, Denzel. Salute to our sound guy. We gonna get him to be able to fix what was going on. But it's not that we ignoring y'all. This is a lot tougher than it looks, for real.
We got 3 cameras. Y'all not the main camera. The main camera is here. So we just wanted to get y'all involved and engaged. So we,
as we get more used to what we currently are doing, we'll be able to bounce back and forth.
Yeah.
But right now,
Just do one live. I mean, yeah, we could do that. I guess.
Do one more or do?
No, she's saying like just.
Oh, just do one as in like one phone. Okay, all right, Ari. Appreciate you. Appreciate the input, Queen. I also appreciate you in the comments, even though we weren't able to see most of the comments. However, I was able to glance. I know Shaheed was glancing.
The phone, the big camera is right in the. That's what I told y'all, bro.
Oh, all right. No, but I can see. I can see. It's just, yeah, hell yeah. We coming back. We gonna as we proceed to give y'all what y'all need. Yeah, I've always wanted to say that. But anyway, yeah. So we gonna come back and then we'll either continue our current conversation or we'll table it and start a different conversation. But y'all know we full of conversations, and so we gonna hit y'all right back.
Yeah, we're gonna try to figure this out.